Well, we have more FUD for cryptocurrency. Not only does the Treasury Department now require that transactions over $10,000 be reported to the IRS, Algeria, Bolivia, Morocco, Nepal, Pakistan, and Vietnam have all banned activity involving cryptocurrencies. Wisdom Tree's proposed Bitcoin ETF has been slowed down by the SEC's latest ruling. After all, an ETF would be nice and is seen as a big catalyst for Bitcoin going up because now more people would potentially invest in it. We've got Beijing cracking down on Bitcoin mining, and the country's biggest players are relocating their Bitcoin farms elsewhere, causing this potential fire selling, they're calling it, of Bitcoin mining rigs in China. You've got El Salvador's president proposing making a Bitcoin a legal tender, which is good, but it's sort of covered up and outweighed by all this other madness going on. And then you've got Sweden's finance minister suggesting that maybe crypto exchanges should be regulated at an international level, which is so different because every country wants their own regulations and their own powers and their own controls. On top of all that, you've got all these recent announcements about the barring of financial institutions from conducting transactions involving cryptocurrency, which includes countries like Bangladesh, Iran, Thailand, Lithuania, China, and Colombia. OMG, folks, there is a lot going on. But today, we have to talk about Donald Trump. Folks, we gotta talk about what Donald Trump just said about Bitcoin and why the heck he would say this. Folks, on Fox Business this morning, Donald Trump said Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. He says, quote, "I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said." Now, to me, it sounds like Donald Trump is literally giving Bitcoin hodlers the exact reason why they like Bitcoin. It gives them an option that is not controlled by a government. The whole point of Bitcoin is exactly to take away and to compete against from fiat and the dollar. Now, do I think that Bitcoin will become the currency of the world? Maybe. If it evolves beyond its current state, we get faster transactions. Maybe. Probably unlikely that countries will ever give up their sovereignty. But I think this bagging on Bitcoin here is really coming in a way to try to appeal to potentially Republican voters for Donald Trump's maybe 2024 run. We should basically say pretty sure 2024 run. He's going to run in 2024. And I think this is really just a way of trying to enfranchise the beliefs of the folks who don't really understand Bitcoin. They see it as sort of like a millennial or Gen Z thing, and no, we don't want Bitcoin. Or it could be part of his sort of like America First approach, his branding, right? America First, American dominance, American dollar. Like, from that point of view, I get it. I don't really think that we can take anything that Donald Trump says regarding Bitcoin as an educated critique of Bitcoin. So I'm not really concerned about it, but I am getting folks asking me like, hey, Kevin, are you worried about your Bitcoin position because of Donald Trump? I want to be very clear. No, not worried at all. Donald Trump is not providing educated insights into Bitcoin. He is providing really campaign rhetoric to reiterate his campaign beliefs, and he's bagging on Bitcoin as a tool to do that. He goes on to say that, quote, "The currency of this world should be the dollar, and I don't think we should have all of the Bitcoins of the world out there." So I think this is a way of saying that all cryptocurrencies in Donald Trump's mind are a scam, given that he's referring to them all as the Bitcoins of the world. He says, "I think they should regulate them very, very high," which is very interesting because Donald Trump is like super anti-regulation. At least that was the argument that he made when he went into office, is cutting red tape. And now this is something that a lot of politicians say, but there's actually cutting red tape and not cutting red tape. Like, for example, y'all know I'm running for governor in California. In California, the governor out here passes laws that just create more red tape. I regularly talk about SB 7 because he just signed it 2 weeks into law, cheering how he's going to make real estate more efficient. But then that only works if you apply through his office and get approval from him for $15 million plus projects. So in other words, there's like an entry fee, like a minimum project size to get in the door. That to me sounds like more red tape, right? That's classic California though. More red tape, more bullcrap. I really think Donald Trump here is generally for less red tape But in a way, he's also saying more red tape on cryptos because they threaten U.S. sovereignty, is what he's saying. This is very much political messaging. This does nothing to the fundamentals of the thesis of Bitcoin. And I just want to put that out there because I know there are some folks, again, I've been getting reached out for people who are like, Kevin, like, is this bad? Should we be concerned? Like, this isn't even FUD. This is just political rhetoric. like there's news, then there's FUD, then there's like, doesn't even matter FUD, and then there's political rhetoric. It's bad. All right, what else did he say? He says that Bitcoin, quote, takes the edge off the dollar and the importance of the dollar. Okay, yeah, I mean, people can hodl in Bitcoin instead of hodling dollars, which is what people do in other countries. For example, when I was in New York a couple of years ago, I interviewed folks about investments, and someone from Japan said, I think we should hold the dollar. The dollar is very, that was sort of his investment. I wonder if I interviewed that same person, and I know this is just one anecdote, but I wonder if I interviewed the same person today, if he would say Bitcoin. So there's a point to that. He also says these cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and that he's not a fan of them. He says he's not a fan of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, which are not money, whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Well, so is fiat. Fiat is also based on thin air. But I think he's drawing this parallel that it's unregulated, which isn't 100% true. Like, if you look at the regulations that companies like BlockFi have to go through, which is centralized, it's kind of like centralized DeFi. And since that's kind of not really the correct way to say it because it's an oxymoron, I would say it's centralized crypto asset services. That's the way I like to refer to it as. You look at the regulation for those, Voyager Digital in Canada, BlockFi out here, which, by the way, go to metkevin.com/BF to get $250, well, up to $250 for free, or go to metkevin.com/Voyager to get some free money over there as well. Anyway, those are highly regulated platforms. Now, there is super unregulated, which is the DeFi space, and potentially also lending in the background, which we don't have our eyes on as much as we do in sort of regular currency markets, stock markets, options markets. It's still very opaque, or the crypto markets are still very opaque. I think to some degree his arguments that crypto isn't regulated is a little too much of a stretch. It's a little bit of a talking point that's pretty easy to use, but it also kind of ignores the fact that there is already a lot of crypto regulation. Now, there will be more. I fully expect there to be more, but there's already a good amount. Then we also have Donald Trump, of course, catching on that crypto assets can be used to facilitate, quote, unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. This is something that is a very, very common narrative that is commonly shared. Based on statistics we have now, there appears to be less illegal activity with cryptocurrencies, but because there are so many dark pools sort of in cryptocurrencies where you even have these treasurer men, as the Financial Times reported to us, and I did a video on a few weeks ago, where basically if you did some kind of illegal activity and you collected money in cryptocurrency, you could give your money or send your money to a treasurer man who will go bury cash for you somewhere so you can, or gift cards. And so you could get that cash in real life in those gift cards and then go spend the money without being tracked. This does kind of blur the tracking of illegal activity, right? Like, okay, so a treasurer man has Bitcoin, but how do we trace an illegal activity through all of these crazy means designed to purposefully break the tracking of illegal activity in cryptocurrency? So we don't really have full data on this. I will say I do think the next frontier in investing in cryptocurrencies are crypto forensics firms who could track this kind of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is just a typical argument here, again, from politician. Now, after Donald Trump's comments, Bitcoin did fall about 1.3%, but again, personally, not worried about it in the long run. If, quite frankly, you're nervous about hodling Bitcoin because of what Donald Trump is saying, you shouldn't be hodling Bitcoin. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. And yes, I know some people say hodl and some people say hodl. Okay, I get it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get your free up to $250 with BlockFi by going to metkevin.com/BF. Deposit money, and you will get up to $250 totally for free at BlockFi, where you can actually transfer coins in your crypto wallet. You can transfer coins in, you can transfer coins out, unlike other services. Thank you so much, and folks, we'll see you in the next one.